Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome. I am Codename Fulcrum. You can also call me Nick. And I'm very excited. We have a special guest today, Jen Markham, who, everybody knows at this point. And if you don't, where have you been? What have you been doing? But really, selfishly, this is my chance to actually get to talk to Jen for a while. And that's, why I started this podcast, so I can, talk to great, interesting people. So, before further ado, I would like to bring out the fabulous, the fantastic, the uber talented Jen Markham. Hello.
Hi, thanks. Hi, Nick. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. And of course, we're 3 hours apart. So you're in New York. Is that
I
correct?
am.
Yeah.
Yep, New York.
Uh,
That's right. It's beautiful.
and a
It's super
big
hot here.
Buffalo Bills fan. Is that?
Yes, love the sports ball. So, yep. I'm from Western New York originally, so I grew up loving those teams and stuff. And they're doing good. Hopefully, they'll continue to do good.
I honestly I grew up a sports ball fan, but then then I eventually fell off. It was after a lot of the strikes, the player strikes. They started to wear me down back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, that's what got me. But for those of you that are out there, Jen, and this is the embarrassing part. Jen is basically the last several years taken over the internet with TikTok, with Instagram, with YouTube, blowing up on that, and doing cosplays, doing skits. Being an influencer at the same time. I know you would consider yourself a digital creator, but the influencer side of things, how does that feel?
Uh, you mean in terms of making a kind of a career, sort of?
Yeah, yeah. I
Like
mean,
a,
well, okay. Let's dive
uh,
in. How did you make your career? How did you go about that?
well, um, I don't listen. I'm as surprised as anybody that I joined TikTok during the pandemic, like a lot of people did, and started making videos, and they kind of, you know, a few did well, and then a few more did well, and I grew it, and a lot of things that have come my way have just been stuff that's shown up in my email box. But it's ups and downs. You and I are in a niche that is. Not I think not as established as maybe something like beauty or mommy or food or fitness.
Yeah.
So the opportunities to do things that are paid, let's put it that way, are less. So I don't really know. I'm figuring it out, and and I should also say that I it is my full time job, but I'm in a two income household. So if I didn't have my husband and his income, I don't know if it would be it would be my full time job. You know what I mean? Because it's so up
Yeah.
and down, sort of.
Of course, we already have the question of but where's Jeremy? um, I mean, I love
He's
Jeremy. I mean,
upstairs.
yeah,
He's
he's doing well. It's been nice to meet Jeremy a couple times. Although, I feel bad, talking to you and hi Jeremy, and then yeah, it's we've gotten only a few minutes to talk at the conventions because they get freaking nuts. Um,
they're so nuts. You talk for like 5 minutes, and it's so anytime you have a longer moment with somebody, it's so great. But it's usually everyone's going this way and that way, and you stop and talk for a second. Um, but
and, and of course, when we started talking, of course, that's when the one way out people started to
yes, that's
started their
right.
big gathering, um, and which was cool to see. But yeah, it was what? Why is they're yelling? And of course, you are also known for your cosplays as well. And I have a lot to ask you about that because I'm venturing into that world, and I know people on here are as well. Um, but as far as building this niche, what got you into wanting to put things online in the first place?
Well, I started cosplaying in 2016. I'd always done Halloween costumes, and then I was wanted to make Ray from The Force Awakens, whatever that Halloween was, when it came in 2015. So it was 20 October 2016,
Hmm.
and I was doing the research and on oh, what how do you buy it? How do you make it? And I discovered this whole world of replica prop and costume building. Like there's these communities of people that make the costumes like exactly how it's on screen. Like they get the exact same boots, the exact same whatever. And there's just something about it that I was super hooked by. I've always loved costumes. And just the idea of that puzzle solving, like what are those boots? Can you tell from the tread, where they bought them and stuff like that. And I just got hooked immediately and I started making costumes. And you develop a community, so I'd always post on Instagram, my builds and my stories or photos of my progress and stuff like that. It wasn't a big thing. It was mostly just me and fellow costume nerds, And then some of my fellow costume nerds started doing videos too on TikTok, and they would put them on their stories, and I like, oh, these are cute, but I can't, what am I going to do? I'm not an actor. I don't know any of that stuff. But then I had a friend, Keldar, actually, who's amazing. Who's been a cosplayer for 20 years. She did some videos about her costumes and her collection, how she made them. And I'm like, well, I would make a video like that, showing it off. I worked so hard. I have like 20 of them. And so that's how I started making the videos. Because I at first, I couldn't see how I was an Instagram more person. So, which is weird because I have a background in video production. Like video isn't hard. It just didn't seem like I'd never kind of just put it together. So that's how the video started. And now every time I do a build or do an update, it's always a video. I have very few. I'm like doing screen grabs and videos to share photos because I don't take photos. It's all video now.
Oh, that's great. I do have, I'm going to embarrass you. First off, I do have a video of, hopefully I'm clicking the right one, of one of your cosplay creations, just kind of because I'm always interested in the creative process. So you can look away if you need to, but I took the audio off of this one. But,
oh, no, it's a good one. I like this one.
Yeah. And this is really how fast it goes, everyone.
That's a whole compilation.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I made Din Djarin, The Mandalorian. I did it the whole summer of 2021. It was fun. People ask me, what are your favorite costumes? And I always interpret that question as, which are you most proud of? And the more recent builds that I've done, like when I first started making costumes, it was all sewing because that was my first best skill. I didn't know how to 3D print. I would buy 3D prints. I didn't know how to do leather work. I buy a leather piece because I'm like, I can't do that. Then you start like spending $60 in a tiny little holster. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Like, this is just a piece of leather, right? And so then I've taught myself more things. And so costumes like Din Djarin and Boba Fett and Val from Solo, Bo-Katan and Val from Solo and Zori Bliss, like those, I did so many techniques in them. There's leather work, there's sewing, there's pattern making, there's 3D printing, and so that's nice to have a finished piece that involves so many different techniques. And but then again, it's nice. Like I just started my live action build for Ahsoka. I haven't posted anything about it yet because I don't post a video till I have a completed piece.
Yeah.
And that's nice to get. There's more sewing in that one. Like the other one's like sew the jumpsuit, but then you cover it in armor and you can't see it. So this one is a little more sewing focused, which is fun because that's, again, something I'm most comfortable with.
Which version of Ahsoka are you going for?
Live action.
Live action, yeah. Oh,
The Mandalorian. I'm sure it'll be a little different. Yeah, live action.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a little different in the show. From the trailers, it looks similar, but they always do little tweaks. Like Din Djarin's armor from season 2 is not quite the same as it was in season 1. I'm doing the Mandalorian, so it's Mandalorian Ahsoka, because I'm sure Ahsoka is going to be a little bit different, but it looks pretty close. So, yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm daunted by the Montrals. That's the part I'm like, oh man. I'm excited to do something new. Yeah, so many people have done it before me, which is great. So I can look at other people's tutorials and what they did in different ways, and so.
I have an Ahsoka, also Mandalorian. You can see actually the Montrals are like just behind the helmet. I'm not a creative as far as costuming and I can't sew, but I just started to venture into EVA foam, and I made my Ahsoka armor for Celebration. It's quite the learning curve, and again, it's a lot of like watching people's videos to make sure I'm doing it right. It went okay. It went all right, but I still need to make a lot of adjustments before the show comes out. I I'm so sorry, Sarah. Did you get? I don't know if you got to meet Sarah while we were at Celebration. But like she, I didn't do my makeup. I tested the makeup on me, but I didn't do the makeup until that morning because I was still like working on trying to like finish my costume last minute, and like trying to do at like 6 in the morning a celebration in the hotel, trying to do that makeup for the first time. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea.
But I feel the same way about makeup. I'm bad at it. It's just I'm not bad at it, but I think it's like anything, you just need to practice. And I don't have the temperament and the time to sit and do an entire painted face, and it can take hours. I'm sure for someone that's like used to it, and like I'm going to use a stencil the whole thing. Like it's just like anything takes practice, and I don't practice it. Like I do Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I hate it. I hate putting my makeup on. It's not fun to me. But for other people, it's their favorite part. They're amazing body painters, and they get contour and the whole thing. And we all can't be good at everything, I guess. But
no, I don't.
Yeah,
I
doing
don't
it the morning
like
of the
that,
convention
though.
for the first time. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad like I got the armor like all done. Finishing it the week of, but it worked. I still need, it was still like kind of coming apart in certain points, but I'll fix it before. I'm always jealous of people that do
But
cosplay.
everyone's armor comes apart.
Yeah, that's true. I made
I was just gonna say that like
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say that I used to get really self-conscious when I first made costumes and stuff would fall apart at an event or a convention or something. Like, oh my gosh, I made it bad. I'm not a good maker. No. Everybody's costume falls apart. Everybody's. Like, we are so hard on them. And walking on a convention floor, you do like and you're sweating and it's like it takes hardware, and everybody's costume has problems. So don't ever, you or anyone out there thinking, oh, mine fell apart, I didn't make it great. That's not necessarily the case. Like it happens to everybody.
Yeah, by the time I did like the pictures and the like videos and stuff like that, it was around the Soka meetup time. But by that point, I was already starting to melt. Like being around the convention, like watching the Ahsoka panel earlier that day, like yeah, there's too much going on. I didn't have a chance, and so there I am, like melting at that point. Like shoulders had already been rubbed off. It's part of the convention life, I guess.
It's so weird. The conventions are in the summer. Like, why during the hottest months of the year? We should have conventions like in February. So, when it's cold out. But
that would for cosplayers that would be the dream. And I've seen that more and more you've been getting invited to conventions.
Well, I've done one.
Yeah.
It was very fun. It was very small, but it was a great first one. And I'm doing another this weekend, and then I'm doing another next month. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's I still am awkward about it. Like I still feel like, why would anyone want to like meet me? But what's nice about when you're convention, it's like, oh, but there's other things going on. It's not like, So that's the new fun thing that we're doing this summer.
Something, and I'll speak for the people out on the internet. Something that a lot of people appreciate about you, and I do too, is that a lot of times when people get a large following or they build like a kind of public career and persona, like you can see kind of that change over time that people have in their personality or the way they deal with people. But you're always the same. Like ever since I met you, like you've always just been like, hey, I'm Jen. This is me.
It's crazy that any of this has happened. Like it's still like when I get invited to places or people recognize me out in the world, I'm like, wait, oh right, the video. Like I still, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. I got so lucky,
Mm-hmm.
It still just surprises me every time.
I mean, luck, yes, but it still takes that right personality. It still takes the time and the work and the talent, and somebody that people can like actually like relate to, and and embrace in that kind of way. So, because you stay positive, you stay on the positive side of things. You just like to do things because you like to do them, and that's what I think people gravitate to. I told you I'd embarrass you. I'm
That
sorry.
that's a huge compliment. Thank you so much. Obviously, I'm extremely human. That is not always the case. And it's hard sometimes when you're like, well, when I'm feeling down about things, I know there's this feeling that like, uh, to talk about everything when you're being negative, when there's something you should be negative about it, like be real kind of stuff. And I don't know. I, it's not that I deliberately hide that, but I always want to make things enjoyable. And I don't always enjoy. I don't want to edit a video of me being like a bummer either. Like I got to sit and watch that. Like I don't want to, you know. So I think that's the bottom line. Is just like I make my videos fun because I want to have fun making it.
Yeah.
But I just, if you don't see that part of me that feels sad or feels frustrated or, it's like, what am I doing? Or this isn't really working out, or I'm sad that my views are down or whatever, that I feel all those things a lot. I just try to, I don't want to edit video of me being a bummer, I guess. But it happens.
Yeah.
I'm very human. So.
Oh, completely. Like on the other side of things for me, when I'm kind of working on being a creator and like what kind of content to do. Obviously, I like to make the fun stuff, but I also decided that, like, you know what, I'm gonna dive a little bit into commentary as well, and the social side of things, and the fandom, which, oh my god, I don't know why I chose that, because I did a video in this last week about people misquoting Kathleen Kennedy, which happens every other week now, and
Oh
just
boy.
the oh my gosh, the horrible stuff. My Instagram was the worst one, but they said the quiet parts out loud. It was terrible, but like on TikTok, I ended up like losing a bunch of followers because of that. But then I have to realize, like, okay, that's actually going to be good in the long run. Hey, Elizabeth, good in the long run, because trying to
Oh,
foster
Elizabeth,
that.
hi.
Yeah, trying to foster that positive community is always what I'm going for. But I think on my side of things, trying to balance out, and coming here on YouTube, I want to kind of balance out those the clickbait videos that are out there. So unfortunately, I realized, like, oh, what have I done? Because that's gonna be an uphill battle. But
Well, I think clickbait is sometimes used to maybe incorrectly to talk about like current events. Like if you make a video about something that's happening, is it clickbait if that's what everyone's talking about? You know what I mean? No, clickbait is more like what the video promised, and like the title of the caption isn't what's inside. And so
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't shy away from keeping talking about what people are talking about, or especially if there's misinformation out there to correct it. I don't know if
it's
we're
really
going
the
to segue into
misinformation.
dealing with
Yeah.
hate comments. Yeah. Uh, it can be tough. I got pretty lucky with considering the fandom is known for being a little cranky.
Yeah.
I got lucky, I think, because my content is goofy and silly, but there's it's hard to balance sometimes. Like, when do you want to defend yourself, and when do you want to, like, you know, do response to comments and stuff like that. I don't know how do you handle it? I see you do some replies to comment videos.
Yeah, most of it is if it's helpful to reply, like, because when you get a lot of those like comments, like I even got a Baldy McBalderson comment today, like on a short, like you get personal insults, you get yeah, people always like are like, oh, I can't say anything else, so I'm gonna go for the bald joke. But it's like I got over that a long time ago. But yeah, because like again, there's that like initial reaction that you have, that kind of like guttural, like grah, like you get frustrated with what's out there in the world sometimes, or misinformation, or people. It's just like in looking at politics and stuff like that too. It can be very one dimensional for a lot of people. But then for me, replies are like, is this going to help other people? And most of the time I try to like spin it. Is this going to help the people that want to listen? If that makes sense. Like the people who kind of want to hear things. Like I'll talk,
Right.
like the whole Star Wars is for everyone. Like are those people going to feel a little bit more heard or understood? And so for me, that's kind of the filter that I try to take on, if that makes sense.
It does. And there's some comments, I'm sure you get them about certain topics or certain characters, and you're just never going to change their mind. And I you know, I've had to have certain characters just. I use block and delete quite a lot too on YouTube, and then YouTube word filters too. I've filtered certain character words. Character names. I'm not going to name them, and I've since unfiltered them. But
yeah,
when stuff gets hot, I don't need that. I used to be like, oh, I have to respond to most people. I have to read everything, and I try to read everything because especially if someone has nice to say, and I get amazingly nice comments as too. But at some point, you're like, if there's someone's being mean, this is my page. This is not a democracy. You know, these are my videos. This is my comment section.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, you know? But
And
I've been lucky that most.
And this is your job. This is your
I've
life.
been like the most.
Yeah.
It's rare. Well, I mean, but listen, if you're going to put yourself out there in the world, especially with video and with I've been lucky enough to have the size I have, I'm going to get people saying stupid stuff. That's part of the deal. If I like, it'd be stupid to say like, why don't I get any? Like, it's going to happen. But and I have lines like I just have lines that I draw. Like if it's something super personal or whatever, like I just like no, bye. See ya. And then if something's like really egregious on YouTube, they're just blocked from the channel, a hide user from channel, and then but I don't really do that as much as you'd think. But it has to be something like really terrible. Like,
much either.
Never again.
I do have to side topic. I just noticed your earrings, and I know people out there are going to appreciate them. Is it the Rebel?
Oh no! Yes, they're actually. Unfortunately, the maker is in Europe. My friend. Okay. Mara, she's in Sweden, and we've been friends for both Jin cosplayers, and we finally met in person in London, and her friend makes them. So I can dig it up, maybe, and we can put it in the comments later or something.
Yeah.
But aren't they beautiful? And they're really light. They're just like kind of plastic and purple glitter. I just love them. So
I know people in the chat.
And she has an Etsy shop, but they are in Europe, so it's okay.
They won't.
I'll make sure we get it by the end.
Yeah.
So.
They won't care at all. Like just give me the Star Wars earrings. So going back to your characters' videos, I just want to play one, and then we can start to talk about it. But this I forget which one this is. I want to say it's Mando and Scout Trooper Grogu Mom.
Bye, buddy. Have fun at Jedi Sleepaway Camp.
Bye.
Do you see him?
The child's gone.
Come on, let's go. Listen to that. What do you hear?
Nothing.
That's right. Silence. We can finally sit out here and relax.
Hey, Mom.
Buddy, what happened? You're supposed to be on the shuttle.
Oh, no. It left without me.
Let me signal it. It can't be too far away. Oh, my comlink isn't in my pocket.
Oh, where could it have gone? You're just going to have to let me get a spaceship so I can fly myself.
Fine.
Really?
No, honey, let me handle this. Well, buddy, we can't afford a spaceship, so you just have to stay here for the rest of the semester. But don't worry, your dad and I are going to cuddle and maybe smooch a little.
Ugh, yeah, stop. Okay, here it is. Call the shuttle, whatever. Just stop making those kissy sounds. Ugh, I'm going to be sick.
Shuttle Sleepaway, can you come back around for a pickup? I'll make sure he isn't hiding this time.
Ugh, Dad, you're the one with the best kind of weapons. Why does Mom always get her way?
There's only one way.
All right. Yeah, let me know in the chat. I know there's a delay in the chat, but let me know if you heard that because you should, but we didn't hear it on our end, and I get paranoid. But but as far as making the videos, because you do a lot of like yourself. You're pretty much most of the characters, and you are everything in that video. You're Mando. You're the Scout Trooper. You're Grogu. Because you said you have video process. What is your process?
Well, it starts with writing, and I think that's the part that I don't think I never really talk about it on the channels. This is not interesting behind the scenes how I'm writing it, but
It's interesting to
for a
my
while
side
there
of
when I
things.
first started the well, I first started the series. Just to back up, so the season finale of season 1 of Mandalorian, there's the 2 Scout Troopers that abduct Grogu, and they punch him in a thing, and then they're both killed, and that's it. So I had this idea that, like, well, what if one of them didn't kill him, didn't punch him? They adopted him. So I took that audio from that scene. I kept Jason Sudeikis's Scout Trooper audio, and I replaced Adam Pally's with my own dialogue. Acted it out both sides as a Scout Trooper, and in the end, she makes off with the kid. And that video kind of did okay. And then so I'm like, all right, well, now what are they going to do? And so they're on the run. And that video was the first video I ever made that got 1 million views. So, and it was amazing because I had like kids, like just post duets of themselves just watching it, like holding their Grogu and stuff. It was wild. So it kind of came this thing. And so at first there really wasn't a story. It was just them doing stuff. So I'm like, what do kids like to do? Like, kids like to go to the library and get a book on magic and do magic tricks. And they care about what they eat. They care about like music. And it's just like little kid stuff. And Grogu didn't talk because he doesn't talk on the show. So why would he suddenly talk in my videos? And I was building Mando, and then because I wanted Mando in the story, and my costume was done. And I didn't even try to do voice changing or anything like that. I just, I actually found it funnier to use, like how I use the Scout Trooper audio in the original one, use clips from the show, which is what I do and what I will always do, because I find it funny. I mean, I know you can now do AI and make it sound just like him, but I don't think I think it cracks me up when it lines up perfectly. Like when he's talking about the puck for his next bounty job, and I use that in a video about them watching hockey. Like, I don't know, that cracks me up. I don't know. So, but the limitation obviously is you're limited by what's in the show. So then I'm like, okay, so I can't write for Grogu because he doesn't talk, and I can't write for Mando because I have to use what's there. That's too hard. Grogu has to talk too, because I can't have 2 characters in a 3-character show that I can't write for. Yeah. So that's how Grogu started to talk. It was a complete technical storytelling necessity. And so, yeah, it's still kind of just like what Grogu wants to get into, and that's usually the joke. It's not deep. It's silly and goofy. And for a while there, I was getting a bunch of stuff from like Target. Like, he has a little bicycle, he'll ride that, and he'll ride a scooter, and figure out how to like do stop motion and have him move. It was just sort of fun things to get him to do. And yeah, it's been an honor that it's done so well and that people connect to it.
Elizabeth is asking if you have any background in theater or acting.
Oh, I don't. I mean, I did musicals in high school, but that was it. So.
What musicals? I mean, I'm a musical theater kid, so now I'm curious what musicals you did.
Oh my gosh, what did we do? We only did one a year, so we did Damn Yankees, and we did.
Damn Yankees.
Gosh, why can't I remember? Some more obscure ones. We did 1940s Radio Hour, and we did. Why can't I remember?
It was only like 3 years ago. I don't know why.
Another like 19. It's like there's only like there's something 1950s. My mind is going blank. I remember Damn Yankees being a cool one. I got to be like a devilette, and
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I got to be one of the people that you got to have heart. I did that like quartet. Yeah, that was fun. And then of course I got another question. How big is your prop closet? Pat is asking. At this point.
So I have a costume closet, and I make a little recurring series about that. I don't know. It's like a regular size closet. I'm starting to move things around, but it's also actually not that well organized, so there's more space. What I'm having to figure out is what to do with lightsabers. It was so funny, Nick. Like there's a bunch of us that do this, and you see people get sent lightsabers. I'm like, oh, maybe that's how you know you've made it as a Star Wars creator. And 3 years clicked off the calendar before anyone sent me everything, and now they're like, I can't get people to stop sending them to me. So, which is amazing. Like, it's cool, but
Hey, if you have too many
I
lightsabers.
don't know what's right. I know. So it's a huge honor. I am not complaining. It's just wild that like I would have maybe the lightsaber companies have all come up with it. This is the new marketing thing we're going to do this summer that we're going to send them to people. Or YouTube, who knows? So.
Yeah, I haven't gotten sent a lightsaber. I got discount for sabers for doing videos, but I haven't reached that yet. But I've had like a few companies send me free stuff for promo. It's getting there. Eventually I'll make it, But it's
You
kind
got you got the Columbia jacket, didn't you?
I did. That will forever, like, I have a winter because I live in California. That's going to be used once a year, so that'll last my entire life. It'll be great.
I don't know if it gets much bigger than that, Nick. That was a big deal. When I saw people get that, I'm like, what?
Awesome.
Because I collect them. I've waited in line in 20-degree weather down in the Flatiron outside the store when the Hoth ones came out, whatever year that was.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those jackets. So.
Oh, they're fantastic. And like when I opened it up, I look at it.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, this is more than I ever expected. But yeah, there's not going to be anything better than that, really. So actually, because I love doing videos and stuff like that. So when you edit things, you have multiple characters of yourself, and sometimes you overlay things. Technically, when you're editing, how do you do that? How do you like what software? What do you do with like multiple characters on there?
Yeah, I don't use green screen. I find the lighting with the green screen. Because we're talking about vertical video. Mm-hmm. We're doing the full body, so I would need a big green screen that I would need to light well. To do green screen, not only do you need to be lit, but the green screen needs to be lit like separately. I just don't own that amount of lights, and I don't really care to. So how I do it is, it's just like cropping a photo. I shoot it. The camera doesn't move, so you shoot it once. I'll like shoot over here, change, shoot over here, and then you basically crop them together. In video terms, it's called masking, but it's the same concept of a crop line. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, which is, I know it's like a top shelf software system.
I use it too.
Most people do not need it. I used it already. There you go. I used it already for work, so I already have that subscription going. I got some comment like saying I was wealthy because I use Adobe Premiere Pro. Like I need it for work, man. I don't know what to tell you. But I don't use a lot of the bells and whistles normally on it for videos. You can do a lot of the free stuff now is just as good. And on the fly, I'll edit on CapCut. Usually not anything technical, but CapCut on your phone is great. It's made by the same people that make TikTok, so I'm sure they're stealing your data. But it's it's great because other apps used to be like, it's like $1.99 for every finished minute of like these crazy prices. Like, it was crazy. And people say, well, recommend an app to edit on. I'm like, I can. I was like, well, maybe Adobe Rush, but still that's $10 a month. So CapCut came along, and I don't know anyone that doesn't use it. It's totally free, and it has a ton of functionality.
I need to download that because I got an app called Video Leap, and that you can do some masking on as well. So I like a lot of if I'm just gonna edit on my phone, I don't want to deal with Adobe Premiere. I'll just edit things on there. So I've been using that for the last like couple of years. And it's been useful. I don't know how it compares to some of the other apps, but if you're wondering, look up Video Leap and CapCut, because all of you can make videos too. Speaking of which, I'm gonna play another video because it's fun. This one just cracks me up because I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and of course this displays a lot of your cosplays. So. Sit back and enjoy this one.
I think it was that song, I Want It That Way.
Backstreet Boys, I'm familiar. Okay. Number one, could you please sing the opening to I Want It That Way?
Really? Okay. You are my fire.
Number two, keep it going.
The one desire.
Number three.
Believe
When I say
Number 4.
I want it that way.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Now number 5. I never wanna hear you say
I want it that way.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
Oh my god, I forgot about that part.
I always love that audio and people doing that, but like seeing the amount of work that goes into making something like that with like all the multiple cosplays is that's some patience right there.
And because I don't know, I'm so reliant on natural light because it's the best free cheap light we have.
Yeah.
I had to really kind of hurry because the light changes so quick. I did all that in one day, which was it was fun. I was close to hitting 500,000 followers on TikTok at the time, and I remember thinking I wasn't going to hit it, and then somehow things were kind of ramping up. I'm like, oh, it's going to be today. Oh no, I want something to do, and so like at 2:00, I set it all up and did it all in one go. But it was fun. Like and what I never show is like afterwards. There's just like costume pieces everywhere because you're just like changing.
Especially when you're in a rush, yeah.
Right. I don't do a lot of lip syncing. I know early days of TikTok that was the thing to do. It's fun when there's a telling a story or just to have a fun idea.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't done a lip sync in so long. I don't even see lip syncs anymore on my feed. But who knows with TikTok? They show me such weird stuff.
They're not as popular as they used to be. You know, TikTok's an always ever changing like what's trending and what's going on. I don't see as many lip syncs. Lot more people just talking about things. Which I prefer kind of getting away from the lip sync stuff because then that's like a lot of people's audios get stolen and that's where you know, some of the artistic integrity breakdown happens on that app. But I will say,
or it's evolved for like. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was gonna switch gears, but you go.
Well, I was gonna say that like it used to be if you're using like a cute movie sound clip or a piece of dialogue from a movie, we would lip sync to it. And now what's more popular is that it's superimposed and there's text. You know what I mean? Whether it's you know, where someone's dancing or something, and there's the little line that it's just. I think the idea of still using movie dialogue is a thing, but the way people make the videos now is just trended a different way or something.
I will say both you and Larissa inspired me to come up with more original skits. So I would do like little skits here and there of characters, and then you put some effort into like the writing for the comedy element of it, but for the most part, creating new characters and creating kind of a continuing thread of following these people. So now I've got a couple like new characters that I've gotten some of the pieces for already. I'm going to be a rebellion mechanic. So that's going to be one of the people. It's going to be Randy the rebellion mechanic. So just kind of like a side character dealing with Han Solo and all these other people. Because I see what both of you do and I'm like, that looks like so much fun. I want in.
Yay! That's great. We should cross over because I have one. I did a little while ago and then I haven't. I kind of didn't do great on TikTok, but did good on Instagram. It's the flight wing boss in the hangar bay, the X-wing flight boss.
Perfect. Yeah.
So be like Randy's boss. So once you get your story going, we should cross over. That'd be great.
Yeah, I've got the pieces. I'm traveling to France here soon for work. I know life is rough, but and I'll be staying a little like resort town, but I won't get to see it. I'll be working the entire time inside a tent teaching people to dance. But yeah, like I'm ready. Like I also got myself a little kind of a cheap like X-wing pilot outfit, so I can actually have somebody to go back and forth with if I need to. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
But then it's, of course, trying to set everything up. It's trying to, set up the lighting and do all of that. That takes some work.
Anytime I see a video of someone just like flips the phone on and talks, I'm so jealous. Like it takes ages just to set everything up, and I don't have a regular spot where I shoot my things. I'm hoping to maybe get a more permanent green screen situation for such things, but I'm always borrowing lights for other stuff. So even if I had that, I still have to move around. Every time I'm setting up, like this takes for so long. I just want to shoot the freaking video already, and I'm like still moving stuff and getting extension cords out, the whole thing.
Let's just because play another video because everybody loves your videos. So I forget which one this is, but everybody will enjoy it.
See a bunch of suitcases and packing activity. I think we're going to a convention.
Oh, wonder who she's taking.
She always takes me. It just depends on which outfit.
Okay, don't get mad, but she usually only takes her newest costume, and there won't be room for everyone.
I hate to break it to you, Shiny, but she has to take me for Blaster Trooper, and she's not taking 2 sets of armor.
This is her first convention in like 2 years. She's not going to wear armor. She's going to ease back in with something really comfortable, something she's known for, the classic.
That's a good point about armor. What if she doesn't bring any costume at all?
Oh, that's a good one. You are the newest one.
Oh, here she comes. Okay, yeah, you. Come on, let's go.
Excuse me, ladies. Wish me luck.
That witch!
Okay, technically that's not Wanda's Scarlet Witch look. It's her Civil War.
I meant Jen.
So, you also do a lot of like Marvel and other things. Like talk about dealing with like multiple fandoms with their personalities.
That little series has done has grown legs just blows my mind. It feels so inside baseball to me. It's a story about just the costume. So it's not the characters, it's the costumes who live in my closet, and how basically they all just want to get worn and be in videos and stuff. And they argue and fight, and like Jen's the super boss leader, because I feel like for a long time that was like my kind of flagship costume. And she's jealous of the new ones with like the 3D printing and the leather work and everything. I did it for fun because it was an idea I had in my head, and I just thought that they've done well or that people get them. I don't get it. Like it seems so. It's great. They're technically hard. I mean, so then I do 3 sometimes, and just to get everybody in there.
Yeah.
But it's nice to like show off a new costume or to have the story, and they kind of not write themselves, but the idea is always the same. They want to be worn. So maybe they're going to Celebration, or who is coming to the convention, or it's laundry day. You know what I mean? But I guess it's a little Toy Story-esque. We all have our things in our collection. Like, are we using them all equally? And how do they feel about it? Sarah just says it's Toy Story with costumes, exactly. Yeah. So it surprised me when they do so great. But maybe that's part of it, is that it's not really so much about the characters. Like I have Huttslayer Leia, the bikini, right, from Return of the Jedi. And I gave her this like ridiculous, like 80s Cold War villain accent, because I just had this idea that like to be that costume you have to be so confident because it's so bare. So like obviously Carrie Fisher in Return of the Jedi doesn't speak with that accent, but it's not Leia, it's the costume's personality. Yeah. So it's kind of wacky, but it's it's fun. I should do a couple new ones. I haven't done one in a while.
Some of the wacky stuff, some of the wackiest ideas are the ones that really stick, thinking outside the box.
But I'm sure you find this too. That like you'll watch a video, something will come across your feed, and you'll watch the whole thing fascinated, and it's about something you don't care anything about or didn't know anything about. But if it has whatever that is, sometimes I don't think I always know what I'm doing, but I think if you try to tell a good story in a way that kind of doesn't lag or lull and don't give people an excuse to scroll away, I don't know. I think maybe that's part of it, but I don't really know.
I have 2 cosplay questions for you. As far as what they mean most to you. So, what is the cosplay that you have that means the most to you?
Oh, what a great question. That means the most to me. Uh, there's so many different ways to answer that.
Your brain is
I
going through
guess
your
when it
closet
comes,
right now.
well, and it's this different eras and stuff. Like there's been, I'm in the costume clubs and the legions and all that too. And so that era where I was really focusing on that and building something without any references or first, like before something came out, like those are kind of fun achievements. I've built a costume with friends. Like a good friend of mine, we both built The Last Jedi Rey together before the movie came out, and that was a fun bonding experience. The Scout Trooper, even before TikTok or YouTube or anything, that was my most worn costume. Every time I did a 501st Legion troop, I wore the Scout Trooper, like 6 times more than I wore any other costume, even though I have a bunch of them. That was just like the one that was my go-to. But and also, I think maybe by my answers, maybe some of the Jyn Ersos, like that was just kind of a costume. I just loved Rogue One. I love that character. We're all to this date, and I know Ahsoka's coming, and it'll be both. It is still the only Star Wars project where a woman headlines it, or has top billing, and so doing that character and doing all of her looks in that movie, I think maybe that's the most meaningful.
Here's my second question: is what is your favorite build you've done?
Ooh, that's a great question too, and it's hard because when I think favorite build, like, oh, there might have been a favorite build where it was really, really fun the whole time and nothing went wrong and there was no moments of frustration. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
There's Mando was pretty fun. Mando was fun. Because also I think what happens with Mando is the costume is so transformative. I think it's the shoulders, that there's these shoulder bells now. And it's because when I have it does not look like me. People think it's Jeremy in the freaking Mando costume, even though the Scout Trooper and they're the same height, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament to how transformative that costume is. And it's one where I'll have it on, and I'm like, I use the mirror to get the shoulders right. And I'm looking at myself, going, "Dang, this freaking looks whoa! This looks like the show. What?" Yeah, maybe that one was the most fun. Like it all kind of came together. I had to figure some stuff out, and it went pretty well, I think. Didn't have any huge mishaps. So.
That's nice. And you mentioned Jeremy a few times. I just want to, this is one of my favorite pics of the two of you, is... So that's Jeremy. But yeah, I mean, how can you not love that picture?
Friends of mine that do this or costume or have a great hobby, the biggest secret weapon you have is a complicit spouse. That, like, I can't tell you how many times it's like 9:00 at night. I'm like, can we go to Home Depot? I'm out of filler primer. And he's like, okay, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, that he's just so supportive. I got lucky with the video. I got really lucky with Jeremy. So, and he's game for stuff. Like he doesn't want to wear armor, but I've made him a couple things. I made him Doctor Strange. I made him Dr. Krennic, and he loves it. He gets into it. He's a great sport. He is not Mando though, and it's funny when people say that he's Mando. I really try to not ever make it seem like I'm offended, because I'm not. Because it's a compliment in so many ways. It's a compliment that people like Jeremy and they want to see him in my videos. So that is coming across in Jeremy as Mando. It's a compliment to the costume that, like, it looks so good that has to be a dude in there. It's a compliment to my editing skills that when Scout Trooper and Mando are talking, there's no way that can't be the same person, and it is. So it's always a compliment. I'll make response videos kind of all the time because it's I just want to make sure people know that it's me, because I'm proud of it. But I really hope it never comes across as being offended. Maybe I'll get a little, like, people say he should be Mando. I'm like, well, dude, do you tell Mr. Beast that he shouldn't be in his videos? Like, it's my channel, man. But it's always usually based in a way that's a compliment to my abilities. So.
But yeah, dealing with that, there's always the assumption that if you identify as something, that's what you should be dressing as. And in cosplay world, that's not the case. Like, cosplay world, it's kind of like, you want to do the thing, do the thing. But I know out in the grand scheme, there's still that mentality. I get that when I do Ahsoka or other things like that. I
I was about
get
to ask
those
for
comments.
Ahsoka. Yeah.
Yeah, because first of all, like Codename Fulcrum, it's all based on Ahsoka. Like that's like I love Ahsoka, among my top favorite characters. And I was kind of like, you know what, like an Ahsoka cosplay would be super fun, live action, because it just fits better as far as costumes are concerned, and also Ahsoka being an adult helps. But yeah, just I knew doing it, I would get some negative responses. Thankfully, most of it's been positive. But I know when I keep doing it, it'll have those little jabs in there here and there. But I'm prepared for it. But also, like, I know if by me doing it is also, I've gotten messages of like it gives other people confidence to follow suit as well, and I want to be able to kind of put that out there as well, that like you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want, go for it.
And I'm not defending your haters at all. I think there's sometimes people don't know cosplay, don't know conventions, don't know the medium, that there's this perception that you have to look just like the person. And I'm maybe even if I had never been to a convention, I didn't know that people do all kind of creative mashups, and that's part of the art and the hobby and the fun of it, is taking it and making your own, whatever that means. Whether it's a character that doesn't look like you, or you're doing like Jedi Doctor Strange or something, like or Jedi Elsa. Those are always great,
Yeah.
I think some people just don't understand that it's part of the creativity is making it your own.
Yeah, thankfully cosplay is becoming little by little more mainstream as far as being out there in the world and people being aware of it. But there's still a long way to go. But having dipped my toe in now, I've got a few cosplays. I will say though, my first one being Captain Rex here. I get so jealous of people who can just easily walk around in cosplay without any effort. And then there I am, like, in the full armor. I'm like, I can't reach my head. I can't, like, function as a human without having a handler.
It looks amazing, though. I remember seeing you in Anaheim.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. But, that thigh armor is tough. It's tough. People ask me all the time, are you going to do a clone? And I've never really thought about it. The amount of times I get asked, would you do a clone? Makes me mad. Maybe that's someday. But the hard part for me is having your thighs encircled. It's just like, oh man, like every armor that I've done like 3 of them. It's usually just knees and shins. Yeah. So you can just kind of move and stuff. But that's hard.
I've had having a handler every time. It's kind of crazy. It's cool to be in it, and it's a lot of work, but yeah, so in order to be screen accurate for animation, like the dimensions just make it really difficult. And I'm already a little bit bulkier, and so that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for error in that. So that's not having a lot of mobility. And then when I see people with their armor just being able to do things, I'm like, how are you doing that? But I wanted my first like real dive in to be like as accurate as possible.
Well, it looks amazing. If I'm sure everyone watching is follows you and sees your stuff, but like you look fantastic in it.
I need to do more videos, but again, like I need to have somebody to help me and do all of that. I just need to set up a station and like do all these things. Just put in the time.
Can you not put it on by yourself? Is there like
cannot.
You can't get on one of the feet?
Okay. It's the upper body that is the real issue. Like getting the arms through the top piece there, and then because when I have my arms on, I have to like go at a weird angle, and then the helmet. Once everything's on, I can't get the helmet on and off myself. It's pretty pathetic. I know. Yeah, I can't. If I have an itch on my nose, I have to be like, help.
Why can't you get the helmet? You can't raise your arms?
Let me move back a little bit. The arm mobility, because of where am I? There I am. Because of the shoulder piece, the bicep piece, and the forearm piece, when everything is like when I get to there, it jams up a little bit. and then with the shoulder, I can't get the full mobility in the arm because of the dimensions that it needs to be. Yeah, and I'm not. I don't have skinny arms and shoulders, so yeah.
That's rough. That sounds
is.
hard.
When doing
Because I was
Ahsoka,
about to ask.
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to ask, like, is there a way to kind of fake it for video? Like, I do that. If I'm doing Ray, I don't do 3 buns. You don't see them. I'm going just like this. You know, is there a way to fake it for video where you don't have to be like full Rex? But it sounds like if it's the arm issue, you can.
I would need somebody to help me with the upper body stuff. So thankfully I've got great people around me that could help if I need to. But I just I already asked for enough things. But yeah, that part is impossible without it. I mean, for video I can fake certain things. You know how like in any of the shows, you never actually really see somebody take a lightsaber off the belt and then they always edit it so you like see them reach for it, but then you see the lightsaber in their hand, because there isn't really an easy way to do that. Had the Darth Vader suit actor from Obi-Wan Kenobi on last month or two ago, and he was talking about like that he could never, like, they always had to edit it so because he couldn't reach the lightsaber and take it out in any sort of fluid motion, so it was always edited so he just suddenly had the lightsaber in his hand, or you always see them use the Force to bring the lightsaber into their hand.
Interesting.
So
I noticed that
even in the shows,
yeah. I noticed that in Mando too. Anytime he's putting something in his pocket or he's pulling something out of a pouch, he already has it in his hand, because there's no way to futz with those pockets. They all have like those pouches have flaps and closures. He already has it, or he'll put it in he's going to put in it and he just kind of turns, so he's just shoving it like in his belt, which he wouldn't do.
Because when you're wearing that helmet, you can't see anything. Yeah.
You can't see it. You can't see down. And with the gloves on, it's not like an open pocket. It has a flap. Like it would be this whole, he'd be futzing, you know? And same with the lightsaber thing too. Same with holstering blasters. The holsters are just made so to hug the blaster so beautifully so it looks cool. But to actually get it in there, when you're wearing a helmet and you can't see it, I noticed that Katie Sackhoff does that. She turns. She's putting it down and she kind of turns just to hide that she can't do it. She can't see it. Oh, Star Wars is so silly.
Yeah, it is, but I forever love it. But that's one of the reasons why I love it, is that it is that ridiculousness as well. So by the way, if any of you have questions for Jen, type them in the chat and we'll get to them. But first of all, I just have to show this picture because it's adorable. That is you and the original Mon Mothma.
Yes. That is the only. I never do photo ops. I just. I don't know. I have nothing against them. It's usually just not something in my world. I was at the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary panel, and there was very little Return of the Jedi in the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary panel. Yeah, like what a missed opportunity. And not only, I mean, half the show were people that were like teenagers. No hate to Rob Rideout or Doug Chang or any of the Lucasfilm executives who were up there. I think that's super interesting. They were talking how it shaped them. Mm-hmm. But let's talk. Let's get the people out there. And then there was also cast members in the building who weren't on stage. Yeah. Like the original Admiral Akbar was in the house. Carolyn Blankenston. There was, I think I counted like 4 or 5 people that weren't even on stage. And I get that their parts were smaller than like Billy D. Williams and Anthony Daniels and all that. But like, are we doing this panel or not? So while I was sitting there being like, this panel's like goofy, I bought the thing. I opened my app and I bought it like on the spot. Like, well, I'm gonna make my own 40th anniversary thing. So
I'm impressed you had internet in that room at that point in time.
I think it took a couple tries. Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. The best thing about the 40th panel was Anthony Daniels and Warwick Davis going back and forth, just giving each other jabs. But yeah, other than that, I was really looking forward to it. But then
okay, I'm gonna say I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was too. I generally don't find Anthony Daniels' humor that funny. It's all based on insulting people, and maybe I've been to one too many panels with him on stage. And if you haven't seen it, maybe it's funny. To me, it's just not funny anymore. And it's all the same shtick, the same stories. Like
he puts on the same show every time. It's like if you've gone to the same comedy show and the same person has the same skit over and over again.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah. But for me, it was Warwick Davis just like throwing back. That was.
Oh, he's so great.
Yeah, it's nice.
He's so great. I love him.
Oh yeah, I'm not kidding anymore. I can throw it back. So one of the things that I'm super jealous of that I find awesome is that you've been getting to go to premieres. I'm going to show this picture because this was actually not this year, but last year at Celebration when there was the surprise Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere. But I use this picture because it wasn't like an official somebody else's picture. But you've gotten to go to a lot of premieres for Star Wars, for Marvel, for Disney. How's that?
It's unbelievable. I'm not gonna say to be like, yeah, no. And I know people say like you go to a lot. I don't go to a lot. I think I go to a few. There's people that go to a lot, but it's ridiculous. It's an incredible honor. I can't believe every time. I can't believe I'm there. It's amazing. I don't know. I want to. I'm trying to figure out what to say about it. I want to appear humble, but also want everyone to understand that I get what a big, ridiculous deal it is.
Yeah.
And The Mandalorian season 3 was unbelievable. I don't know I might have peaked there. That was like the most incredible thing I've ever gotten to do. Because what was wild about it is it rained. So they moved the entire red carpet into a hotel lobby. Mm-hmm. So usually a red carpet is like a big one-way street. There's photographers, and then there's video, and then the theater's at the end, and you have to keep moving or else they get mad. Yeah. You don't want to be like blocking stuff up. But because they moved the Mandalorian one inside, it wasn't like that. It was a big room, so you weren't shoved away at the end. Like you got to kind of hang out in the center while the thing was going around. It was amazing. It was incredible that it lucked out with the weather that they had that set up. So you kind of got to meet everybody.
That's awesome.
I made my and I'm not. I don't think I'm super high on the list. I'm on a list at all is amazing, but sometimes I don't get a lot of notice. Like, people are sick and they or they cancel and they call me at the last minute. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. But this one, unbelievably, I actually got enough notice that I was able to make my outfit. So I made a Mando inspired look, and it was incredible. It was an incredible experience. I'm so grateful. I don't understand why they bring content creators to red carpets. Like, shouldn't people who worked on the show take my space? I don't know why it happens, but I'm so grateful to be on a list that I get to do it ever. It's ridiculous. You get to play movie star. Like, it's wild. You know?
I mean, I love the fact that you get to be invited to things like that because, I mean, you put so much work into what you do, and it helps like expand and build the fandom. And behind the scenes, it's not glamorous. You're always like the one posting things or like making the videos, and like people see you publicly, but like you're always just back there. And so it's like the one time to actually get to live any sort of part of that.
It's amazing. It's the coolest thing I get to do.
And apparently you also got invited to Broadway?
Yeah. I don't know how I hop on these lists. Although I actually found out I went to Grey House on Broadway. They invited me. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a giveaway for tickets actually on my Instagram starting tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So, but it was interesting about that is that then there was a little like reception after. So I happened to be riding the elevator with the PR person, and she was mentioning that they were doing like different waves, different nights, and like one night they had a bunch of book talkers. And they were really kind of dissecting the plot. So I took that opportunity to go, oh, well, what's tonight? How did you find us? And they're like, well, tonight was like comic book creators and people who made videos about She-Hulk, because Tatiana Maslany was in it. So like that was an interesting because I never know why, and none of us ever know why who gets invited to what for why, we don't know, and it's different every time for every event and whatever. So that was an interesting little insight. And she's great. The show was really great. It was really cool.
That's awesome. I mean, theater kid. I love Broadway, so I'm gonna live vicariously through you. Someday, Star Wars will notice me. Someday, and it doesn't have to be for much of anything, and then that'll be the dream come true. But yeah, I mean, if I think for all of us that are out here, like, just if somebody's gonna be invited to red carpet stuff, like you are a great ambassador for a lot of the creators, which I know for you, you're kind of like, I'm just Jen, but like, you know, if we're gonna have people that are out there that are kind of in a way kind of representing like Star Wars creators or Marvel creators, you know, you want those good personalities, you want those people who will bring that positivity and that kind of light to things, because you know we don't always get the best spotlight in the back.
You're so kind, Nick. That's so sweet of you to say. There's so many good creators out there, and that, yeah. Again, I don't know how things are decided, and I never really know how my stuff is considered, because I use their IP to make my own stories, which sometimes IP holders aren't so thrilled about. But so that's been nice that when there's been contact with the parent company, it's been like, oh, it's positive, like, come to our stuff, come to our theme parks. You know, it's that's been a relief, because you never know. You know, they could be like, you know.
I mean, there are creators that get that kind of like side eye from them, but I think because first of all, you're not just like ripping things off, you're bringing your own like creative ideas to something, and I think that's really what, and it's a positive version of that. It's fun. It's not showing their IP in any sort of negative way. So I think that helps a lot. But let me ask you this, because having gone to premieres and doing other things, have you had a favorite celebrity encounter?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I did a Pop Swank. I did a whole post about it. Paul Lee, who plays Carson Teva on The Mandalorian, is also the lead in Kim's Convenience, on which is on CBC in Canada, but it was on Netflix. We just love that show. There's something about it. It just we really fell in love with it, and then he was in The Mandalorian. And what was wild is that he came up to me and said, "I'm gonna start crying." Like, he said, "Are you Jen Markham?" And I like blue screened. I couldn't believe that this actor, who not only do I love The Mandalorian, but I love Kim's Convenience, and that he knew who I was and had all these wonderful things to say about my videos. I still can't believe it. I couldn't believe it so much. It actually took me the entire season of The Mandalorian to even post about it, because I'm like, it's, well, because then he showed up at the end. I'm like, okay, here's my moment. I'm going to post this photo. It was great. And he recognized Larissa too. I want to make sure that she probably hasn't shared cause I brought Larissa as my guest, and he knew who she was. You're Dolores. Like, it was wild for both of us. That was amazing. I keep going to that same night because it was so crazy. When I met Jon Favreau and asked if I could do a photo with him, he complimented my outfit. He was just like, "I like your dress." Like, "Oh, I made it." He's like, "Oh, it's Mando." Like, I was like, "Wow, yeah." So it's amazing. It's, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's some of the people again making that show, like they're some of the biggest like Star Wars geeks and and nerds in that show, and I love to see like people be passionate about the projects they're in.
Well, even like I did, I was asked, a lot of makers were to create like a Christmas ornament auction. Auction for charity. My friend Mike in Michigan does it every year, and he asked me to make an ornament. And like the high bidder on my ornament, the person who bought it was Maria Sandoval, who's like the lead hairstylist for The Mandalorian, and like she bought my, you know what I mean? Like, they're fans, and like you're just saying, they're some of the biggest nerds who work on the show.
Oh yeah,
it's cool. There's something different about how Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, I guess, and Ahsoka too, are shot here in the U.S. that, like, I don't know, that those creators are here, or the way everything that was shot in London. Maybe I don't know. I don't actually know if I'm making a great point there, but that's.
Well, like the original
But
Star Wars,
yeah.
right? Like you had the whole UK production team. Like they knew nothing about it. They didn't care. They're just like they're getting hired to do this thing, and you have all these Americans coming in to film this like cheesy sci-fi movie. And so there was a lot of that in the early days. But now you get a bunch of people who are passionate about working on this and excited to be a part of the making of these things, and I love seeing that. Like,
It's
I
really
love
cool.
behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes stuff and getting to
Love
hear
it.
people talk about their piece of it and their craft and what they bring to it.
Like when they do when the Disney Gallery for Mandalorian season 3, the behind the scenes just came out. I follow a few of the creatives. I follow Shauna Torpsick, who's the costume designer, and I follow Maria and the whole thing. And they were posting photos of their team sitting down and watching it. And like, there's me behind the scenes. Like it was great. They're geeking out about their craft and stuff. It was really cool.
I know. So a couple of Sarah and Julie who are in the chat. While at Celebration, met one of the prop masters for Mando and shows like that, and had a conversation with him, and then getting to see him both like on stage at Celebration, talking, and then seeing he was actually one of the people being interviewed in that gallery video. Yeah, it's so great. My goal is to have more and more people involved with the shows, come on here with the podcast, because I'm interested in all the different aspects of how these things are made and what goes into it. I find it super intriguing. I almost went into film. That was before I went into dancing. I was almost going into film, and then I saw how the industry was, and I'm like, I'll become a dancer. They're Sarah's saying like the prop master built Chopper, and they were losing it because they were big Chopper fans. I mean, how are you not a fan of the that war criminal? But but I'm hoping to have more and more people like that on here, because I want to know all the different types of skill sets that go into making these projects. I find it intriguing. So that's kind of like where I've been going a little bit with this podcast, is like getting people that worked with the shows, or getting like creators like you to come on and kind of talk about things. Trying to find my way on this podcast, if that makes sense. My own little niche.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's my goal, at least. I don't know. I don't know how well I do, but I've got you on here, so it's a good start. So I've got we got another person. Hello, Skyman. We've got another video here. I want to play it. I forget which video this is, so hopefully it's great. I'm assuming it's great. You'll be entertained. Here you go.
See a bunch of suitcases in the packing activity. I think we're going to a convention.
You played that one already.
I wonder who she's taking.
I thought I have. Wait, I might have played all of them. Did I play this one?
See a bunch of suitcases.
Oh, it's the same one. Curses. Okay, never mind. Played all. Everybody be cool. Jeez, just a technical thing. I labeled something twice. It's fine. I did all this yesterday. And Shadow Shorts. Hello there. So getting back to...
I want to shout out real quick. I see...
Oh, please, yeah.
Before this question, I just noticed the chat, and it's like this big green thing, that official Aunt Moose is here. That's Ruth, and she sent me this amazing box, and I've been meaning to... I did an unboxing about it, but anytime I see her, I just want to say thank you again. That was amazing. She made like little T-shirts for Grogu, and she sent him books and stuff. It was a really thoughtful package. And Ruth, if you're still here in the chat, thank you so much. It was one of the coolest things anyone's ever sent me.
You're getting more shout outs. I love Jen's videos.
Thank you.
And I know it's weird, like sitting here like hearing those things, because like maybe people type them in the chats here and there, but like as a creator, this is for you out there, not for Jen, but for you out there, like as a creator, like you don't really get that back too much, like in person live. It happens less than you think. So it's really just like you're pumping content out there. Oh wait, official Aunt Moose.
Oh,
there
Ruth.
you go.
Yeah, that's who sent me the box.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, that's
You know,
why
makes
I'm
me
here
think though.
too.
If well, if I might, just you were asking about great celebrity encounters, and those are amazing, obviously. But thinking of Ruth and just, I had some unbelievable interactions with people who watch my videos, where they're like, I don't mean to make myself sound cool that I get stopped out in the world, but I have, but people that come up to me at Disney or when I'm at a convention or something, and the kindness and the way people say it's really wild, because like we were just talking a bit ago about how, you know, in the context of a premiere, like, yeah, it's a lot of work, and you don't see like the days you're just like slogging editing video, or I'm sanding a 3D printed armor all day long and you're in pain and it's stupid and you're covered in Bondo dust. So those glamorous moments are nice, but sometimes that you forget that people saying things like, I love your videos, or like, those are real people. And then sometimes you get to meet them, and the things, what that has been a bigger highlight than any celebrity encounter. Like, it's people make me cry all the time. Like, it's unbelievable that I've done something that has made someone say something nice, or when I come up to me and say something nice. Coming up to an adult is hard. It's, who did I just see? Oh, I ran into at the end of Theater Kid, right at the end of Grey House and Broadway, in the lobby, just standing there. They were in the show too. Was Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez, just like chilling out, who wrote, you know, Frozen and everything. And I freaked out entirely. And I'm like, I can't go up to them. I'm so nervous. And I thought, wait a minute, people come up to me all the time. The point is, it's hard, and I get that it's hard. And I did, and they were so nice. And we took the most adorable photo, like together, like my old buddies with their 8 Oscars or whatever it is. It's hard. And when people do it, when people take time to come up to you and say something nice, it's unbelievable. I just want to make sure that we talked about the celebrity thing. And yeah, that's cool. But it's the people that come by, watch your videos. I started getting into cosplay because of you. I drove 3 hours to this convention to meet you. It's wild, and I'm so grateful.
It, you know, like how the Star Wars fandom really gets publicized more for its toxicity more than anything else, as far as like in the public. But I think the best line from Rise of Skywalker being "There are more of us," that kind of mentality that there are still so many positive fans out there, positive people who just love this type of thing, love to be in this fandom in any sort of way, and love to celebrate the people who lift that up as creators, and just to be able to have that feeling of that connectivity, I think is amazing, you know. And that's like, thus the people coming up to you saying things like that's where you find, like, that's where it actually feels connected. You guys keep my love of Star Wars alive. Well, keep that love alive, because there's so many of us, and that's the one thing
and that's
for
why
me,
it's important to like keep amplifying each other's voices too. Like that there's people that make like that rage fun or whatever, but they're just loud. They're not what they lack. They have some volume, but they don't have like the numbers, you know.
Yeah. If in the last 2 years, however long I've been on Star Wars TikTok, just being able to find that community that's on there and become a part of that, and like realizing like it didn't matter if you were a creator, big or small. It didn't matter if you just like to jump on the podcast like chats, and that like there was this like bubble that was forming of just this positive energy and this kind of positive fandom, and to become a part of that has just been incredible. And for me, I just want to like do my part in trying to keep bringing people into that bubble and let that bubble expand, if that makes sense.
It does. I think it encourages people too, you know, going back to like responding to negative comments. Like, it's better when we amplify each other, and not like get mired down in the fights over, you know, Rey Skywalker or whatever people are hating on
Oh my goodness.
these days. I can't even keep up.
It's back around.
So,
yeah, I know. Yeah. It's, you know, it's gonna happen, but I, you know, just the fact that we're getting like a new Rey movie, stuff like that, just kind of like, reminds me that of how many of those positive people are out there, and that can still push those things forward, as opposed to like having it just hide in the background. We can keep these characters and keep this love of certain aspects alive. Sorry, I'm deviating from that, but going back to costume and cosplay building, what are some of the? So you said you used to get things 3D printed, but do you have a 3D printer now?
I do. I do. So yeah, it's a smaller one. So I haven't. I've printed only one helmet in pieces. I printed my Zori Bliss helmet. So for anything big, I still do to get that commission because I want a helmet in one piece. But that's it. Everything else I print myself. So
that's insane. That's like one of many things. So what are the skill sets? So obviously you started with a lot of sewing, and then you said you now work with leather as well.
Yeah, leather is just sewing. It's just sewing. That's all it is. Like it's thicker.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to go slower, and sometimes you have to hand sew it because if you don't have an expensive machine that will deal with if you're using a certain thickness of leather. But it's just sewing, And then usually dyeing too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What other skill sets have you had to kind of dive into in order to create some of these builds?
Well, the 3D printing has been interesting, and that's. But what's great about that, it's really democratized a lot of like armor kits. Like I'm not sure. Your clone, that's from a kit, yeah?
Yeah, I went Imperial Surplus for that one, yeah.
Imperial Surplus, right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that kit is probably going to work great for you and for people of your height and your build.
Yeah.
And everyone else has to figure it out, you know what I mean? Because you have to like shim it or cut it down. I mean, because they make these kits in one size, and maybe you get one. Imperial Surplus does one kit, maybe Waltz does another, and those were your choices. It was a reason why, like the C-3POs, there's one kit people had, and so only people that size could be that droid because that was the only kit to buy. Now with 3D printing, you can resize anything in your software to any dimensions you want. Like I printed my Mando, and not on both axes. Like my Mando, everything I printed pretty much at 90%, except for the shoulder bills, which are 100. But I did the shins 90% this way, but kept them at 100% because I have bigger calves. You know what I mean? You were able to make things to fit you in a way we all couldn't do before, especially with armor. If you want, not obviously foam, you can cut to fit whatever you want. But so that's been great. It just. It can be tricky, so, but that's been fun to learn, and I'm in a 3D printing community now. I'm learning stuff with that, and then filling and sanding and making it look cool. But that's been a nice avenue for people who are. I mean, I'm not a 6-foot dude, So how would I get the Mandalorian armor? Mm-hmm. If I bought a kit, it would look ridiculous on me. It would be way too big. But now I can print it to my size. So.
I mean, I commend you for your dedication. Like just getting into like the foam armor for me, obviously because I don't sew, that limits a lot of what I can do. But I've got Sarah occasionally to help me with some of those aspects, because I don't think that'll ever be a big skill set for me. So like I had to get I got this commissioned. Do you know Jedi Dude J?
I know that name.
Yeah, he's out here in California, so he did all the painting. And thankfully with this armor, again, like you said, they printed one size. Like I didn't have to adjust anything. It was perfect for my size and build. But I'm like around 6 foot, and I've got an athletic build, so like I can't imagine people who don't have those dimensions fitting any of this.
Right, it's hard.
Yeah. So for those of you that are venturing into cosplay, I will say, having dipped my toe, because I've got a lot of cosplay friends that kind of help guide me. We've got a friend Lacey who has actually been doing a lot of cosplay lately, like really into cosplay, but doing Our Flag Means Death cosplay, and like her and her friends. Cool. Have gotten invited by the cast to different things, so it's just cool to see the cast dive in. But like, I basically was like, at one point I was like, all right, help. I want to do this. Guide me. And, you know, took me to a craft shop and pointed to all the things that I needed. So if you ever see this, Lacey, thanks. And thanks for Sarah for dealing with all my questions. But I love it. I love it. I want to do more. I need to work on my Ahsoka. And if you ever are working on the makeup part of it, I have questions for you if you figure it out.
Oh. I don't know. I'm gonna get a stencil and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So
that's basically I've got a stencil of stuff, but like makeup again is a new venture. I just need to like test things out. And
you it's like anything. You gotta just you gotta do it and get music on. Just get in front of the mirror and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah taught me how to dye my first fabric a couple weeks ago. So I did do that. There's a lot of stirring.
Oh, that's
involved.
awesome. There you
A
go.
lot of stirring.
Yeah.
I found out that it's not complicated. It's just annoying.
Yeah,
and,
that's really how most things are. It seems daunting, you know?
Yeah. But little by little I'm getting into it. Like they got me into like doing LARP type stuff, live action role play. And for me it's like, oh, this is just theater cosplay. It's great. So I need to build stuff for that. I'm diving into the older I get, the more and more I dive into nerd world. Unapologetic. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Listen, we have adult money. Let's everyone has
I do
their
have adult
thing.
money,
You
but
know,
I've got dance instructor adult money, so.
No, but life is so ridiculously short. If it brings you joy, man, just go for it. Everyone has their thing. Yeah. They like the sports ball or they collect something. Like, everyone has hobbies are there to bring you joy, man. If you find something that brings you joy, just hang on and don't let go.
That is the big lesson I find for a lot of people, you know, like in the early years, like, you know, growing up in the 80s, it was always like, oh, nerd. That was such a negative connotation, but growing up now and just learning to embrace everything that you love and not worry about it, just dive in and find like-minded people. That's the best thing ever.
And it's not that nerd's not a dirty word anymore. I mean, like San Diego Comic-Con, it's the biggest corporate show going. Like, it's a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest deal. This year, obviously, with the writer's strike is going to be interesting. But, you know, nerds are big bucks.
Yeah, we buy so much. We invest. But hey, I mean, nerds run the world, so I'll take it. Is there any, so I know you've got a convention coming up this weekend, but is there anything else that you have up and coming that people should know about?
So this weekend is Contropolis, New Jersey, and Secaucus, New Jersey. They actually have a decent lineup of Star Wars guests, so that's fun. It's like Emily Swallow and Chris Bartlett and Ahmed Best, Laura Mary Campbell, and renowned stunt performer. Oh, I know I'm missing some. I'm sorry, but so that's a good little group. And I'll have a cosplay table. So, and I'm judging the cosplay contest on Sunday, which is fun. So, that's nice. That's pretty local for me. I'm just going to drive, and it'll be great. I don't think of anything else I can announce yet. Things aren't signed, but I'm doing. I'm going to New York Comic Con. So as I always do, but I should have another convention next month. I should be also in the Northeast. I'll be probably announcing soon. So it's fine.
Just put this out there. Emily Swallow on all her social media has been doing like a lot of convention videos, and started to do like little team up things with certain videos. So I'm just gonna put that out there. If you're in the same weekend, if you could somehow team up with Emily Swallow, the armorer.
Yeah, someone tagged me in the one she did with like the Pepsi Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I kept getting tagged in that one, so I had to come up with a good idea. Like, I'm thinking, I remember making a note to myself, like, I'll come up with an idea, and it's like in 2 days, so I need to get it together. So,
because there was a comment that people were replying to of like, oh, who should I team up with next? Is what she wrote in one of the videos. So I'm just putting that out there. If anybody's got a chance. No pressure. Just I know conventions get a little crazy. But
this is my first time being a guest at a.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's my first time being a guest at a convention that has actual movie celebrities as guests too. So I'm not sure how we'll intersect at all. So, and someone asked where the Comic-Con is. It's in Secaucus, New Jersey, Contropolis. It's by the Meadowlands, right where the Giants and Jets Stadium is. It's not like right there, but it's in that part of New Jersey. So it's in New York City area, New Jersey. So.
And if you're asking about the big Comic-Con, the one they were talking about that's in San Diego this month, I believe. I still haven't been to it. I need to.
Oh, yeah, I know this month.
Yeah. So there's the big San Diego one. There's a big New York Comic-Con. So there's big ones, but yeah, the one that Jen said for this upcoming weekend. And of course, on all the socials, you just have the handle Jen Markham, right? That's pretty much where you are everywhere. YouTube,
yes.
Instagram, TikTok.
I do. On Instagram, I do have the underscore in between Jen and Markham. Didn't get that one.
I'm all
underscores.
Jen
_ Markham. Yeah, but maybe one day whoever has it will retire, but probably not.
I know.
But TikTok and YouTube are my big ones. So there you go.
Yeah, and Jen comes out with amazing things. So go follow YouTube and TikTok, and you will get a lot of joy out of that channel. Jen, I just want to say thank you for coming on because I've only gotten to talk to you like in person for just a few minutes and to get to chat with you this whole time.
Oh, it's great. I know we met so briefly, but you're like one of my favorite creators. It's so great and I'm just honored that you had me on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. And thank you everybody in the chat. I always forget to say this, but don't forget to like this video so it gets pushed out there, and subscribe if you can, because that helps. Please. But yeah, I always forget to self-promote. I'm great at promoting other people. I will promote the heck out of Jen, but I will be terrible at promoting myself. But again, you'll find.
But listen, no, I say people know how YouTube works. You know what I mean? Like every time I watch a video, it's like, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm like, yeah, I know how YouTube works. I will like and subscribe. You don't need to tell me.
Yeah.
So you are speaking intelligently to your audience if you forget to do it. Think of it that way.
Oh, that's good. And I will never say smash that like button or smash that subscribe button. I will never use those words for myself.
I think certain things just become part of Well, I think sometimes it becomes the language of YouTube. So people think that's what you're supposed to do. But so I'm not trying to hate on people that do that. But, I think people know how to find you.
It's more a matter of I can't get away with saying certain things. There's a certain delivery. I'm too old. I'm too I'm too awkward to say certain things. So, I know what I can get away with, and I've got my friends in this chat to be like, yeah, no, you can't, you can't get away with that. They keep me in check. It's great. I love it. And of course, Margot says, everybody's saying thank you. Such a fun conversation. Thank you. Yeah, it's just great having you on, and we all appreciate you, and it's a pleasure, and can't wait to see all the things you do going forward.
Oh, thanks, Nikki. Thanks again so much for having me. It was so fun.
And so this is me signing off. Again, like and subscribe. That helps. And we got some fun podcasts coming up. I think we're also going to get into some Talking Rebels in future weeks in prep for the Ahsoka show, so everybody's kind of up to date on what has happened, and we can all be ready for that. And of course, look for Jen's upcoming Ahsoka cosplay as well. Yeah, Sarah's already saying we are not the smash the like button audience. Thanks, Sarah. But again, Jen, thank you very much, and thank you to all out there. And this is me saying